following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers, this is the TFA coming to you with a very special video today. And as the title of the video has shown, this is a thank you video, so a very special thank you to my friend and fellow Transformers fan and collector, UltraMegatronus. He was nice enough to send me the Transformers action figure that this review is going to focus on as a belated birthday present / early Christmas present, and I will accept that it's both presents because it is a Transformers figure that, had I gotten it on my own, I would have most likely had to have paid a scalper on eBay the same price that a Titan class Transformers action figure goes for, because this figure is rare and hard to find. And as the title of the video has revealed, it is the Transformers Buzzworthy Bumblebee Worlds Collide Deluxe Class Decepticon Fangry. So, thank you once again, UltraMegatronus, for hooking me up with this Transformers figure. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to get Fangry for a very long time, if at all. So thank you once again. You made not only my day but my year. You're sending me this. So this was a bucket list Transformers figure that I wanted out of my collection. So UltraMegatronus, thank you so much for hooking me up with this figure. So. Yeah, here he is. This is Fangry. He was one of 4 Transformers action figures released in the first box set containing up to 4 Transformers action figures in the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line. Every year since the Worlds Collide 4-pack that contained Fangry was released back in 2021, there's been a 4-pack of Transformers figures that have been sold exclusively at Target stores here in the United States. After the Worlds Collide 4-pack, which was released in 2021, same year as the Transformers Kingdom line, we then got the Creatures Collide 4-pack during Legacy Year 1 in 2022. Then we got the Trooper Army Builder 4-pack that was released last year in 2023 during Legacy Evolution, and now most recent 4-pack released at Target stores. It was announced at the beginning of the current year of 2024 that the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line was coming to an end, so future Target exclusive Transformers figures would be released in packaging concurrent with the lines that the figures were designed to interact with. So the most recent 4-pack released exclusively at Target stores is the Transformers Legacy United Versus 4-pack containing Cliff Jumper and 3 other Transformers villains. So, bringing focus back here to Fangry, the Worlds Collide 4-pack contained, in addition to Fangry, it contained a deluxe class figure of Bumblebee to show that it was, that was the original gimmick with the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line, was that it was entirely a line based around Bumblebee. As you can see, I'm pointing to 2 Bumblebee figures that I have behind me. I'll get to reviewing those hopefully before the weekend ends, but the Worlds Collide 4-pack, it was released around the fall of 2021, and as a result, I wasn't able to get a hold of it, and I wasn't impressed with the Bumblebee figure released in that box set, and that was one of the make it or break it reasons why I passed on the Worlds Collide box set back in 2021, because my local Target store never picked up the Worlds Collide 4-pack back in 2021, and if it did, it was always sold out by the time I would stop by and visit. But along with Bumblebee, the other figures that were released in that 4-pack were Nemesis Primal, an evil doppelganger of the Kingdom Optimus Primal figure, just like Nemesis Prime. And then there was a figure of Black Arachnia based on her Beast Wars action figure paint job, and that figure's been kind of sort of sought after, or due to the fact that it contains the gold legs that Black Arachnia had in the Beast Wars cartoon, and a lot of people did a leg swap on the Buzzworthy Black Arachnia figure and her Kingdom figure to give the Kingdom figure a more cartoon-accurate paint job. But yes, Fangry here was, he's out of all the 4 figures released in the Buzzworthy Worlds Collide box set, Fangry is the one that's been the rarest and the most sought-after figure. That being said, he's a fairly obscure Transformers character that only hardcore Generation 1 fans would have prior knowledge of. So for those of you wondering who exactly is Fangry, he's basically one of 3 Decepticons that were released in the Generation 1 line in 1988, and they were known as the Headmaster Juniors. Another one of them was released in the aforementioned Legacy United Versus 4-pack containing Cliff Jumper. Another Headmaster Jr. was Squeeze Play, who transformed into a mechanical crab. The third and final Headmaster Jr. that still hasn't been given a modern deluxe class Transformers figure is Horrible, who transforms into a mostly blue and gray bull with some reptilian features. There have been some custom fan-made Horrible action figures that have been repaints and retools of Titan's Return, Skull Cruncher, and some people have pointed out that the body proportions between Skullcruncher and Horrible are very similar to each other. Fangry here himself is himself a retool of the Transformers Titan's Return Deluxe Class Twinferno, aka Doublecross, who was one of the 3 monster bots, and the other 2 monster bots, Grotusque and Repugnus, are repaints and retools of Twinferno / Doublecross as well. So Fangry is the 4th use of the Titans Return Twinferno mold to be released, and a lot of Transformers fans and collectors think that possible mold degradation is one of the reasons why he has very loose joints, especially in the legs. This is a universal problem on most copies of Buzzworthy Worlds Collide Fangry, is that the joints on his hips and his knees are extremely loose. So if you do like I do right here and try to hold Fangry by his lower leg, then he'll flop back over in on himself. So yeah, he has some of the worst knee joints out there. Whether or not it actually is mold degradation, I don't know. That's just my speculation of it. So please don't quote me on that. You can kind of sort of see Fangry's beast mode out here from the kibble hanging here off of his back. And the gimmick with all 3 of the Headmaster Juniors is that unlike the regular Decepticon Headmasters who transformed into mechanical creatures, such as Mindwipe being a mechanical bat, Skullcruncher a crocodile, Weird Wolf a wolf, Apeface a gorilla, and Snapdragon a dinosaur, the Headmaster Juniors transformed into monstrous creatures that one could argue were precursors to the Fusors, such as Tigerhawk, who I have back there, who I hopefully will get around to reviewing someday soon. But the Beast Wars Fusors were Transformers characters that had 2 different beasts mashed up between them. Tigerhawk, as his name implies, was a mashup of a tiger and a hawk. And one could argue the Headmaster Juniors were precursors to the Fusors. Fangry is basically a winged wolf. Well, he's basically a wolf that can fly since he has a pair of bat wings. Technically, if you wanted the bat wings on Generation 1 Fangry, they were opened up all the way. The way most bat species have their wings when they take flight. This bat wing configuration here that was used on all 3 of the monster bots, it's more of like a folded bat wing when bats are about to take flight, but they're still standing still on they haven't fully opened their wings up yet. There have been some third-party companies that have done upgrade kits where you can get a pair of more accurate wings similar to Fangry's Generation 1 Transformers figure. But yeah, that's the gimmick here with Fangry, is that his beast mode is basically a winged wolf capable of flying. I can't remember what beast mashups Squeeze Play and Horrible were. Squeeze Play is a crab and he basically has monstrous looking proportions, and Horrible was I believe a bull with reptilian features on him, like reptilian scales. And so as his name implied, a Horrible was a horrific bull, since he was a bull that had a carnivorous appetite similar to what reptiles have. But bring the focus back here to a Fangry. That's the idea with the Headmaster Juniors, that they transform into even more monstrous beasts than the regular Decepticon Headmasters do. And believe it or not, this actually isn't the first action figure that Fangry's been given. He first got a Titan Master figure in the Titans Return line back in 2016. That version of Fangry was just his head with a tiny little transforming battle suit beast type weapon that could transform into a miniature version of his Generation 1 action figure. I didn't buy and collect the Titan Master figures when they were being released back in the Titans Return line, so I don't have that figure of Fangry in my Transformers collection. But if you had the Titans Return version of Fangry and the Buzzworthy Worlds Collide Fangry figure here, then you could insert the Titans Return Fangry into this version's fist, and then Fangry could be his own target master. So that's a pretty fun thing to do, to know about that. Here on this version of Fangry, he does not come with any handheld weapons. There's no laser guns that he comes packaged with whatsoever. I was kind of hoping that maybe he might have come with the same combining laser guns that the two monster bots of Twinferno and Grotusque came with. Out of all three of the monster bots, even though Twinferno was the original version of the mold, Fangry's more of a retool of Grotusque, being the most similar to him of the three monster bots in terms of physical appearance. I don't know which parts on Fangry are brand new and which ones are retooled. I think his torso is a new mold. The wings are the same. The lower arms, I believe, are different molding. The shoulders, I believe, might be the same as the ones used on Grotusque, but I could be incorrect. The legs definitely are the exact same on Fangry as they are on Twinferno, as they are on, I believe, both Twinferno and Grotusque. So the most unique version of this mold that exists is the Titans Return Deluxe Class Repugnus figure. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about Fangry. He was as a headmaster in the original Generation 1 line, so the fact that he's a retool and a repaint of one of the headmaster figures that was released in the Titans Return line is very appropriate and fitting. Just like the Generation 1 headmaster figures, he does have the three tech spec readouts here on his chest where he has a speed, strength, and intelligence. That's what those three sets of letters there on his chest are: speed, strength, and intelligence. On the original Generation 1 Headmaster Transformers figures, when you would insert the Headmaster partner and push it down, and there were three little tabs at the base of the actual Headmaster robot that would activate this gimmick that gave you measurements of a Headmaster character. That gimmick has been removed entirely on this new figure, so the tech readouts on the chest are something that's just ornamental from to try and give this figure more Generation 1 accuracy, but it is nice that they went the extra mile with it. I believe officially Fangry his headmaster partner, whose name I should have looked up before I started recording the review, it is a new copyrighted name that the original Fangry's original headmaster partner didn't have. I'll have to look that up in just a moment as the review goes along. But the face sculpt design, it is fairly accurate to his appearance in the to his Generation 1 and to his, I believe it's this head sculpt is supposed to be accurate to his appearance in the Transformers: The Headmasters cartoon that aired exclusively on Japanese television in 1987 and 1988. The original Titans Return Titan Master Fangry figure that was released in 2016, I believe that one has the head sculpt that's more accurate to Fangry's Generation 1 action figures. So I've seen a handful of photos of people who managed to get both Fangry action figures where they put the Titan Master Headmaster from the Titans Return line onto the Buzzworthy Fangry figure, and that made the most G1 accurate modern day Fangry action figure that you could get. Yeah, I really enjoy Fangry's paint job. He's this mostly like bright magenta, lavender type purple. I can't remember what the exact shade is with gray and black highlights, and yeah, it's a pretty nice, it's a pretty menacing looking, it's a surprisingly menacing looking paint job that he has. For articulation, it's the same as the aim as the three Titans Return monster bots, where you've got a swivel joint in the shoulder, so the arms can spin 360 degrees forwards and backwards. Bicep swivel, but it's fairly stiff on Fangry, which is kind of surprising considering the loose joints in his legs. Hinged knees, no wrist articulation. You can technically move the hands inward and outward like that, but that's mainly due to transformation. Head can spin 360 degrees, but if you try and but if you're not too careful, the back of the Titan Master could rub into the hinge joint that keeps the wolf head connected. Acted no waist articulation due to how the figure transforms. The legs can go forward this far, but it does push up on the pelvis skirt. Or they can go out this far. Are thigh swivel, very loose joints on the knees, of course, and you can get reverse ankle rockers due to it being a transformation joint, but the feet can rotate at the ankle, so there's a spin joint in the ankle, but that's also due to transformation, so pretty decent amount of articulation for a figure that was designed for the Titans Return line originally. And some people have argued some of the Titans Return molds, as molds, even though only a handful of them have been used on more recent Headmaster Transformers characters, they still hold up compared to the more recent designs that have been released in the Legacy Transformers Legacy and the Transformers Studio Series 86 lines in more recent years. Now, because this has become the first and only action figure of Fangry in my Transformers collection, for a size comparison, here is Fangry next to another action figure that was released in the Worlds Collide box set. So here he is next to the Voyager class Nemesis Primal figure. I got this figure for myself off of eBay 2 years ago. Out of all 4 figures that were released in the Worlds Collide box set, Nemesis Primal here was the figure I was the most excited for and the one I was the most anxious to add to my collection. I debated for a while about getting Fangry, but by the time I had any interest in getting him, he was already going for crazy aftermarket prices, and I have to be honest with you guys and with myself, I didn't have any interest in Fangry until this year when his fellow Decepticon Headmaster Jr. Squeeze Play was released in the Legacy United Versus box set. So I'll get around to reviewing the Legacy United Versus box set soon. And I can't give any guarantees when I'm going to review which Transformers figures I'm going to review and when because of due to helping my family and my job. So I try to get reviews done whenever I can. But hopefully, the point I'm trying to make is that since Fangry was released back in 2021 and Squeeze Play has now been released during the current year, as this video is recording during the year 2024, it took 3 years for the first 2 Headmaster Juniors to be given modern-day deluxe class Transformers figures, and so I am really, really keeping my fingers crossed that Hasbro doesn't keep Transformers fans and collectors waiting another 3 years until deciding to release a modern-day action figure of Horrible. I really hope that we get a deluxe class figure of Horrible in the Transformers Generations line next year in 2025, so we can finally complete the collectors can finally have all 3 of the Decepticon Headmaster Juniors as modern-day deluxe class Transformers figures. Horrible did get I think Horrible also was one of the Transformers characters that got a Titan Master in the Titans Return line. It had the new registered copyrighted name of Terrible. But I don't care if Hasbro has to come up with a new copyrighted name for Horrible. I just really, really hope they give us a modern-day figure, deluxe class figure of Horrible to complete the trio of Decepticon Headmaster Juniors. So, now that I've said pretty much all that there is to say about Fangry, let's get him transformed into his beast mode and wrap up the review. Alright, and so before we actually get to Fangry's beast mode, really fast, here is his headmaster partner named Brisko, which I think is a a fairly cool name to be given to a headmaster figure. Like all Titan Master headmasters, the only real articulation that he has are the arms, which move up and down at the shoulder, and then there's double jointed hip and knee joints. And pretty much Brisko's alt mode is Fangry's head. So overall, a fairly decent headmaster figure. And Brisko is the name that Fangry's headmaster partner had back in 1988. So Hasbro, just like Fangry himself, was able to get a updated registered trademark to Brisko's original name. So it's with all the new copyrighted names that more well-known Headmaster Transformers characters have had to be given in recent years, it's really a nice rarity to see that both Fangry and his Headmaster partner have their original Generation 1 names still in recent times. Alright, and so here is Fangry transformed into his beast mode, and as you can see, he is his beast mode is supposed to be a winged wolf, and just take a look at that head sculpt. I mean, you would not want to come across Fangry angry at any time of the day. But I do love the paint apps here. The bright yellow on the eyes and the shining silver on his teeth. It definitely gives a hellhound vibe here to Fangry. I'm disappointed to see that, unfortunately, on this one copy of Fangry, there is a silver spot blotched there on his forehead. I'd try rubbing it off, but in the past I've had horrible mishaps rubbing paint off on stuff. I may paint over it black, but for now it doesn't bother me too much. How much I consider it a battle scar that he just had. He does have the same one Decepticon logo that he had on his chest, but for paint apps, even though his wings look like they're painted greenish gray. Here, even though it looks like it's made of plastic, that's actually paint. The wings are actually done in black plastic. I don't know if it's the same black translucent plastic that was used on Titan's Return, Twinferno, or if it's more solid black. But all the parts on Fangry that are green are paint. His wings, his chest emblem, and also his beast mode thighs. Those are all the parts on Fangry that are this greenish gray A color. It's all paint. It's not plastic, so that's tad disappointing to see. His wolf head is cast in black plastic, which is nice. Same thing with all the parts on him that are black. All of Fangry's black parts are black plastic, so that's great to see that. You store his headmaster partner Brisko inside the same storage compartment that you do on every version of this mold, and Brisko actually fell out, so he doesn't sit there in place too much. But there's what it looks like with him inside. On the MonsterBots versions of this mold, you just fold that up and then you're done. But here on Fangry with the retooled chest, you now have to fold that down as well. And you do unfortunately have to rotate the beast mode head to the back first if you want to get Brisko out of the headmaster storage compartment. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty great figure. So I looked at some photos during transformation, and I thought the torso might be different, but no, it's the exact same torso that was used on Titan's Return Grotusque. The only thing different, I believe, is the beast mode head and the shoulders, but everything else is the same. So Fangry, if you have Titan's Return, Twinferno, and Grotusque, Fangry does have the same sets of rectangular slots here on his back. So if you wanted to, you could put the back cannons that Twinferno and Grotusque were given here on Fangry's back. I may, if I can find one at a decent price, get a buy a duplicate copy of Titan's Return Twinferno just to give Fangry the same back weapons that his mold mates came with, or I may just look around my Transformers collection and see if there's any spare laser guns, because you do have the same 5mm ports here on the bat wings that were also found on the these double as dragon wings for Twinferno and Grotusque. But yeah, that's pretty nice looking there. The lower legs, I was right earlier in the video when I said that there's nothing new, that it's all the same sculpting detail that was used on Twinferno and Grotusque. I kind of wish they would have at least redesigned the beast mode feet, since we've seen the exact same feet on Grotusque and Twinferno, so I don't know. So, like I said, the most unique version of the four uses of this mold is still Titan's Return Repugnus, as incredible as that sounds. So, um, basically, the only difference between Fangry and Titan's Return Grotusque are the in beast mode are the arms and the beast mode head, but everything else is pretty much the same, just done in different paint apps. So the beast mode head, as fearsome as it is, while it does offer some distinction for Fangry, if you have Titan's Return Grotusque, then it's not that much of a distinction for you to realize that Fangry and Titan's Return Grotusque are the same mold. But all in all, I do applaud Hasbro and Takara Tomi's efforts to at least design a new head sculpt for Fangry and design this fantastic looking deluxe class figure that's retooled from the Titans Return Monster Bot mold, which is one of my favorite molds to come out of the Titans Return line. I love my collection of Monster Bots, and yeah, I just really find Fangry a really menacing looking Decepticon. As his name implies, he does live up to his name by having a angry personality and taking out his fangs on any Autobots who cross his path. If the mouth does open and close, but the hinge joint can be a little tight, so just be wary of how much force you apply when you open and close his Fangry's jaws. And unfortunately, it's not on a swivel joint, it is on a hinge joint with a locking mechanism, so he basically just has closed mouth and open mouth. There's no like halfway point. Like, as you can see right here, that's how much Fangry's lower jaw is able to move up and down without hitting the pivot or ratchet that makes the jaw shut. So it's ironic that half the joints on Fangry are loose and the other half are super tight. Why they couldn't all just be have a standard I just lost the word. Why they couldn't all have a standard amount of strength to them. The joints on him is unknown, but overall, a pretty incredible looking action figure. And once again, UltraMegatronus, thank you so much for sending me Fangry. And once again, for a size collection in beast mode, here's Fangry next to one of the figures sold in the Worlds Collide 4-pack, Nemesis Primal. And depending on how you have their legs positioned, Fangry does stand taller than Nemesis Primal, but it doesn't matter. Personally, if these two Transformers characters were to fight each other, there's no doubt in my mind that Nemesis Primal would be the victor in a one-on-one fight with Fangry, because as fearsome as Fangry looks, Nemesis Primal is even more evil than he is, and even in a stare-down contest between these two beasts, there's no doubt, I believe, even Nemesis Primal would win any day. So yes, once again, thank you so much, UltraMegatronus, for sending me Fangry. This might be my this was the best surprised Transformers figure I've added to my collection this year. I had no idea that I would be holding Fangry like this. I thought I was going to have to pay an eBay scalper for him. The aftermarket price that Fangry goes for is angry. It'll make your jaw drop even more than Fangry himself can do when you see how the aftermarket prices that he's going for. Or right now on eBay, from what I've seen, Fangry is the rarest and most hard to find of the four figures that were sold in the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Worlds Collide 4-pack. So he is the selling figure of that box set. and I personally believe Eve, which is kind of ironic since if you count seniority and the characters that came out first, Bumblebee technically has that title since he was released in 1984, but considering the fact that I've got two figures of Bumblebee standing right here behind me waiting to be reviewed, dude, I can say with 100% honesty from what I've seen, Fangry is was the selling figure of the Worlds Collide 4-pack. I honestly thought when it first came out that it would have been Nemesis Primal since he was a brand new figure and nobody had ever before thought of Optimus Primal having a Nemesis clone own stand opposite him, just like Optimus Prime and Nemesis Prime stand opposite of each other. A lot of the Transformers fans and collectors were excited for the Worlds Collide box set because of the version of Black Arachnia that was sold in that set, and the gold legs for her beast mode being able to be swapped out between her Buzzworthy figure and her Kingdom figure. But yeah, from what I've seen on eBay, I've seen plenty copies of the other three figures from the Worlds Collide box set: Nemesis Primal, Black Arachnia, and Bumblebee, all selling for fairly decent prices, but not Fangry. He is the one that you will have to pay an arm and a leg in order to get, and even brand new in an unopened box set of the Worlds Collide, the Buzzworthy Bumblebee set. On eBay, it goes for close to $200. It originally retailed, I believe, for the same price that all of the Target exclusive 4-packs have been going for, which is around $80. I can't remember if the Worlds Collide set retailed for $70 and the price has just gone up since then, but yeah, basically the bottom line is that Fangry is the figure that's angry that's the selling point of that set. And so, as I've run out of words to say and I'm starting to lose my train of thought, and it's also close to 1:30 in the morning when I'm recording this video, I will say this: UltraMegatronus, you're the best. You are the greatest. So thank you once again for sending me Fangry as a belated birthday present and early Christmas present. This is the best Transformers action figure I could have gotten as a surprise gift. So for you, UltraMegatronus, a double thumbs up. Thank you so much once again for that. And so for the final proverbial question of my reviews, do I recommend getting the Buzzworth Early Worlds Collide Fangry figure and adding it to your Transformers collection? I do highly recommend this figure, but once again, Fangry is not a popular or well-known Transformers Generation 1 character, and like I said, the reason why my friend UltraMegatronus was willing to send me such a hard-to-find Transformers figure to me as a surprise gift is because, as he put it, he has no emotional attachment to Fangry, and I can understand that. The Headmaster Juniors, they aren't too well-known Transformers characters out there, and I can kind of see that's one of the reasons why Hasbro decided to sell Fangry and now Squeeze Play as exclusives inside 4-pack box sets. That's at Target stores here in the States, because had these figures sold at mass retail, they probably would have been too obscure and not so popular Transformers characters that they probably would have shelf warmed, and most collectors probably wouldn't have been interested in buying them. At least that's been the mentality Hasbro has had in the past, but who knows if Fangry and Squeeze Play would have sold at mass retail just like their original Generation 1 Headmaster Jr. figures did back in 1988. But overall, if you're a fan of obscure Transformers Generation 1 characters, then I recommend getting Fangry. If you're not a fan of the Headmaster Juniors and you don't like Fangry's beast mode design of a half reptilian winged wolf, basically a flying wolf monster, then Fangry can be an easy pass, especially if you find his appearance and his overall design not the greatest. So yeah, he's not a must-have figure, but if you're a fan of Generation 1 characters like I am, and you're seeking to add as many individual Transformers characters to your collection which has been my mentality the past few years, get as many individual characters as I can find, then I do recommend getting this figure if you can find him for a decent price. like I said, he came out. Fangry was released 3 years ago in 2021, and as part of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee, Worlds Collide box set. At all of the 4 packs that have been released concurrently with the first the Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy line and now the Legacy line, they've all been exclusive to Target stores here in the United States. So some of the characters are more sought after than others, so the more sought after ones can be hard to find and they can go for crazy aftermarket prices. The cheapest I found Fangry going for on eBay by himself out of the box was $125. So yeah, Fangry's going for even more than the Worlds Collide box set originally went for when it was sold back in 2021. So that's kind of the make it or break it deal with a hard to find figure like Fangry is it worth the money that you're willing to pay scalpers to get the figure in your Transformers collection after it's been out on the market for several years? So technically, even though he was released only 3 years ago, because of the crazy aftermarket price he goes for, Fangry is not only a rare Transformers action figure, but he's bordering on being being declared a vintage Transformers action figure, one that's not only super hard to find but also super rare. And there is a slight difference between being rare and being hard to find. Basically, being hard to find means that there's lots of copies of a figure out there that are available, but but a lot of them have been bought out by scalpers wanting to scalp them off, so that's why they're hard to find. Rare means that there aren't a lot of them out there, so I'm just babbling on at this point. So thank you guys all so much, and once again, this has been the TFangy. This has been my review of Transformers Buzzworthy Bumblebee Worlds Collide Deluxe Class Fangry. If you can find this figure at a decent price, then I recommend getting it, because Fangry is one of those rare and hard to find Transformers action figures that if you someday decide you do want to get it and add it to your Transformers collection, you are going to have to pay a huge hefty price in order to add it to your Transformers collection, whether it's new in the box or if it's a used copy. So thank you once again to my good friend UltraMegatronus for sending me this Transformers figure. You're the greatest, UltraMegatronus, so thank you once again for sending me Fangry. And until next time, you guys, this has been the TFangy. Please remember to stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, you guys, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.